Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Study English with Frank. And today we're going to continue our series on homophones. Homophones. Let's get started. Just before we begin, I want to ask you a favor, and that is if you like the lessons, if it's helpful for you, please give the video a like. That really helps our channel grow and helps us have the incentive to produce more lessons like this. All right, let's get started with our lesson. Idle and idle. The car was left idle in the driveway. An idle mind is the devil's playground. The employees have been idle since the factory shut down. The other use, idle. He was our idol since childhood. Who is your idol? The crowd cheered as their idol stepped onto the stage. And you've probably guessed the meaning of idol. It is someone who you really like. It might be a really good singer that you like, or maybe it's a sports person that has become your hero because they're always scoring goals, and so you idolize that person. They are your idol. Not and not. He tied a knot in the rope. The knot was too tight to untie. Have you ever had that happen? You just can't get it. A strong knot is needed to tie up the boat. The other use of not is a way to express a negative, to say you're not going to do something. You want to let people know that you're not going to join in. And so that's how we use the word not. I am not going to the party. I will not be able to go to the store. And I will not destroy my life with drugs. That's a good position to take, isn't it? You don't want to ruin your life with drugs. Night and night. The stars are so bright in the night sky. It was a quiet night at the restaurant. There were hardly any customers at all. It was a quiet night. It was a dark and stormy night. Have you ever opened a book and that's how it starts? Or the beginning of a story? It was a dark and stormy night. Now, the other night is the English name for a soldier under old kingdoms in Europe. They called them knights. They usually had metal armor around them, and when they went to war, they would carry their swords and their spears and their heavy armor, and we called them knights with a K. Now, you've probably seen this. Many English words don't pronounce all of the letters from the way that they are spelled, and this is one of those cases. We don't hear the K in the night here. We don't say knight. Knight. It's just night. We drop the K altogether. It's silent. We don't hear the K. The knight rode his horse into battle. The queen made him a knight. The knight is a tricky chess piece. Are you a chess player? Or and or. Use the or to row the boat. He lost an oar while rowing. Paddle the canoe with an oar. So that's a piece of wood usually. It can be plastic, and it's a way that you paddle your boat. The other oar is to kind of ask a question whether you're going to do one thing or the other. Are you going to do this or are you going to do that? And so we could say, are you coming or not? Do you like cats or dogs best? Do you want to wear the blue hat or the red one? And so that's the use of or, O-R. Q and Q. What is Q with a Q-U? That's when you have to line up to maybe buy something, or you're lining up at the airport or at the train station. You need to get in line in order to get your ticket or in order to get on the train. There's a queue, they call it, lineup. It's used more in, I think, the UK. They call it a queue there more than in Canada and the United States. So let's use it in some sentences. The queue at the ticket counter was long. She stood in the queue for hours. Have you ever had to do that? There are some people that are so excited to get tickets for a music concert that they will even camp out overnight so that they can be near the beginning of the line in the morning. Some people stand in queue for hours to get what they want. Please don't jump ahead of the queue. Have you ever seen people who do this? You might have been waiting for 2 hours in a queue, and then somebody comes along from the outside and just tries to jump into the front of the line. They haven't waited at all. They're just jumping in. That can be very annoying to see people who think that they can just jump in anywhere they want in the queue. All right, the other use of queue, C-U-E, is kind of like getting a signal from somebody. You're watching and suddenly they signal to you, and that's your cue to do something. So we could say something like, take your cue from the director's signal. If you're playing in a band or an orchestra or singing in a choir, and the choir director's giving the motions, and then they point to you, well, it's time for you to do your solo or do your part, right? Take the cue from the director's signal. That's my cue to leave. Have you ever had somebody say that? Maybe you're yawning as they're talking. They're trying to tell you something and you're just kind of falling asleep. Well, they might say, well, that's my cue, I guess, to leave. Yeah, you're letting me know it's time to go. That's my cue. You're giving me the signal that it's time to go. He needed someone to hold the cue cards for his speech. Have you ever tried to give a speech from memory and you have a lot to say and you're afraid that you might not be able to remember everything? Well, you can have somebody stand there with your script kind of written out, and he's holding the cue cards. That's what a cue card is. Well, that's our lesson for today. I hope that you enjoyed it, that you picked up 5 new sets of homophones for you to learn today. I hope that you took the time to write them down on a piece of paper or maybe print out the script. YouTube, I think, gives you the transcript of our videos now. You can just copy-paste that into your Word document and just check it every once in a while. And by the end of the day, you should know these homophones very well. You might want to watch the lesson one more time in the evening just to be sure that you got everything right, and then you'll know these homophones very well. Well, it's time to say goodbye. Just before we go, be sure to like the video if you haven't already done so. I invite you to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time here at Study English with Frank. So long for today.